Words that apply to all three persons of the Trinity: omnipresent, omnipresence, the ability to be present everywhere at all times, is one of the defining attributes of God. It reveals the boundless nature of the divine, unrestricted by time or space. The Bible ascribes omnipresence to the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, providing clear evidence for their shared divinity and unity as one God. This truth supports the doctrine of the Trinity and presents a profound challenge to skeptics and non-believers who deny that the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit are one in essence. The Father as omnipresent. In Jeremiah 23:24, God declares, "Can any hide himself in secret places, that I shall not see him, saith the Lord? Do not I fill heaven and earth, saith the Lord?" This verse unequivocally affirms the omnipresence of the Father. He is not confined to a specific location, but fills all of heaven and earth. His presence is inescapable, and nothing is hidden from him. This omnipresence is a defining characteristic of the Father's sovereignty and divine nature. The Father's presence is not merely symbolic, it is active and real, encompassing all of creation at every moment. The Son as omnipresent. In Matthew 28:20, Jesus makes a profound promise to his disciples. "Lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world." This statement demonstrates the omnipresence of Jesus. After his resurrection, Jesus assures his followers that he will always be with them, regardless of where they are or when they live. This promise would be impossible for a mere human or created being to fulfill. Further evidence of Jesus' omnipresence is seen in John 1:48, where Jesus tells Nathanael that he saw him under the fig tree before Philip called him. Jesus' ability to know and see events from afar highlights his divine nature. The Holy Spirit as omnipresent. In Psalm 139:7, David speaks of the omnipresence of the Holy Spirit. "Whither shall I go from thy spirit, or whither shall I flee from thy presence?" David recognizes that the Spirit of God is present everywhere, from the heights of heaven to the depths of Sheol. The Holy Spirit's omnipresence assures believers of God's nearness at all times. This divine attribute is unique to God, affirming the Spirit's deity. The Spirit's omnipresence is also evident in his work of sanctification and conviction, which occurs simultaneously across the entire world. The challenge to skeptics. The omnipresence of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit raises critical questions for skeptics and non-believers. How can three distinct persons all possess omnipresence without being one God? If omnipresence is a unique attribute of God, and all three persons share it, how can they not be united in essence? Why does Jesus promise to be with his followers always if he is not omnipresent? In Matthew 28:20, Jesus assures his disciples of his continual presence. How can this be true unless he shares the divine attribute of omnipresence? How can the Holy Spirit be present everywhere simultaneously if he is not God? Psalm 139:7-10 describes the inescapable presence of the Spirit. How can this be explained if the Holy Spirit is merely a created being or impersonal force? How do skeptics reconcile the unity of divine attributes across all three persons? The Bible consistently ascribes omnipresence to the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. If they are not one God, how can they share this uniquely divine attribute? Unity in omnipresence. The doctrine of the Trinity provides the only coherent explanation for the shared omnipresence of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Each person exercises this divine attribute uniquely. Father, the source of all creation, filling heaven and earth with his presence. Son, the incarnate Word who promises his abiding presence with his followers. Holy Spirit, the indwelling presence of God, working in and through believers everywhere. This unity in omnipresence reflects the co-equality and co-eternality of the Trinity. Conclusion. The omnipresence of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit is a profound testament to their shared divinity and unity as one God. If omnipresence is a defining attribute of God, how can it apply to three distinct persons without affirming their unity in essence? We challenge you to disprove this truth. How can Jesus promise to be with his followers always if he is not omnipresent? Why does Psalm 139 affirm the Spirit's inescapable presence if he is not God? If the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit are not one God, how do they all share the attribute of omnipresence? The evidence is overwhelming. The Father, Son, and Holy Spirit are not three separate gods, but one omnipresent God in three persons. This truth invites believers to worship the triune God and challenges skeptics to confront the reality of God's presence, which fills all of creation and is revealed in the unity of the Trinity.